Hey, what's going on? Peace, peace, peace to everybody. It's your girl Tiffany here live in bed. So first and foremost, I just want to let everybody know I had a birthday, which was August 30th. I turned 35 years old. So I'm blessed to be here. But today I'm going live to speak on the International Day for People of African Descent and this whole situation with Luke versus Tariq. All right. So for those who don't know what is the International Day of African for African people, it's a holiday that was created by the UN, right? Oh, this is the second year they celebrate it. So it was August 31st of 2022 when they first started. Okay, so again, this is the second year of the celebration. All right. Um, the whole purpose is to acknowledge our African descent and also acknowledge the colonialism that took place in the continent and also recognize the enslavement of our people here in the diaspora. That's the whole purpose. So for those who may believe that our we don't have like a holiday that we celebrate as Black people here in America, we do. We have multiple holidays. However, some people celebrate the certain ones they think is beneficial, but the rest that people ignore because they feel like it has those holidays don't have any type of significance. So one of the holidays that we celebrate as Black people is Kwanzaa, right? And the other one is Juneteenth. But people don't know about uh Umoja Kamau, which is the Juneteenth feast. No one knows about Black Love Day. No one knows about African Liberation Day. There's a lot of holidays that we have as Black people that we celebrate. All right. And so for those who walking around here talking about, well, we don't get off into being African descent, we indigenous and all this other mess. Okay, you keep your indigenous ass where you at. You don't have to celebrate it. That's not something that you want to partake in. You're not required to do so. But it's just to show that if you are Black, you have African descent and your ancestors was brought here to this country against their own will. All right. So all of the historical facts and information can show and prove. Okay, it can show and prove, and it'll cut all the shenanigans that people bring up as far as history is concerned. All right, now let's get into this whole thing about the Tariq and Uncle Luke situation. So Tariq and Uncle Luke, if y'all don't know who Luke Campbell is, he was the one that was in this group called the Two Live Crew, right from Miami, Florida. Okay, they was known for their controversial. One of those controversies was women on the album cover with their butts hanging out, etc. All right. So Luke Campbell was going back and forth with Tariq because Tariq and his little neons have a bad habit of calling black immigrants or people who have parents that are black immigrants teachers. Okay. They like to use the term teacher and they like to swear up and down that you're not black, which is ironic because if you study history, right, one of the first people to be called black were African people. Okay, but anyways, and so basically, Luke challenged Tariq like, okay, so you call Malcolm X a teacher because Malcolm X's mother, she was from Grenada. Okay, and then he questioned him about Farrakhan because Farrakhan's I think his background, his parents, they were from the West Indies. So he was wondering, well, what if that's the case, then are you calling all these people a teacher? And so, Tariq tried to come back with an argument by saying that Malcolm X's father was a foundational Black American, which that is false. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really study history, uh, Malcolm X's daddy was a Garveyite. He was a student of Garvey. Okay, he identified with his African descent. See, the problem is with someone like Tariq, they try to change history. They try to spin the narrative of history to get people on the bandwagon. But when you have somebody like Luke, who's just an entertainer, but obviously this man is smart. Now, I'm not a fan of his, but the man is intelligent. And he point out the bullshit. And he knows it's some bullshit. You can't get too far with that. Here it is a celebrity that obviously know his history better than you do, right? He know that you on some bullshit. So if people can't see the bullshit that Tyreek is pulling on black people, then obviously they're the problem. If you can't see the man is purposely creating division amongst black people, then you are the problem. You refuse to see that. You refuse to acknowledge that. Tyreek's whole purpose is to profit off the ignorance of our people any way he can. He's using this pimpology that he learned that he's been doing for a long time to get over our people. But see, I see folks going back and forth on social media, particularly on Twitter, looking crazy as hell. Everybody else on the outside, they not really focusing on them in real life because it would sound like some bullshit to them. Either way it goes, you can't override history. You can't override genetics. Talking that nonsense. You know, you can create the pseudo identity all you want to, but when you deal with genetics, you can't override that shit. I seen King Randall's, and shout out to Randall's, a very powerful young man out of Albany, Georgia. He took a picture. He was in Nigeria, okay, and he was standing in front of a statue, and then he put in quotation, "By the way, Tariq, I am not claiming to be African. I'm not African. I know where my ancestors came from in America." He said, "So before you say anything to me about it," and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, "What the hell with Tariq? What you need Tariq validation for? What you need his validation for? That's who you are. That's your genetics. It's not. It doesn't matter what he say or Yvette Carnell say. It's what your genetics say. That's a part of your bloodline. That's a part of your history. That's a part of where your ancestors came from. You went back to the ancestral land, or you went back to the land of your ancestors, and you was doing the work for your ancestors by going to a place like Nigeria. So there's no reason for you to give that explanation. It was no reason for him to even say that. It was no reason for this young man to even have to feel like he got to disown just so he won't receive any antagonism. But if y'all don't recognize what this man is doing, he's creating division on purpose. He's creating more eternal conflict amongst black people. That's what he's trying to do. And he got black folks talking real crazy on the internet. Black folks in America saying all kind of crazy shit. Finger pointing. This is the same man, he done gave you all these damn documentaries, right? Told you about ancient Egyptian history, told you about Africa, told you even about Haiti. Now all of a sudden he flipped the narrative on you. He flipped the script and creating war and division amongst people. Let me tell y'all something. I would say this. Yes, our ancestors who were Africans that was enslaved here in America has done so much work. They have. They have really put in a lot of work. and we give credit to those people, but we also give credit to those Africans from the Caribbean as well, because they played their part in shaping the black population, the black community. They played their part on that. And also we give credit to those Africans that came from the continent, because if it wasn't for the Africans from those continents, we wouldn't even be who we are today. We wouldn't be where we are. So we give credit to all those who play a part in our lives, in our culture. And I wouldn't even say our culture, but in our lives, in our history. And a lot of us, believe it or not, our African ancestors, they were brought from the Caribbean. More of them were brought from the Caribbean to America than they were from the actual continent. Y'all better go and study this shit. 5% of African people came from Central West Africa, right? But majority of the African descendant people came up out of the Caribbean. It does not bullshit about hip hop. Who started hip hop? Who created hip hop, etc. Where if you actually take the time to study the history, it shouldn't be no fucking debate. But y'all always want to make a debate out of some shit. Yes, hip hop started in New York, right? But if you go into the origin, you will find out there is the southern roots. And what do I mean by the southern roots? All right, you got jazz, blues, um, folk music, Negro spiritualism, all of that combined together played a factor in the creation of what we call hip hop. And then you have the Caribbean sound. Because if you hear the bass sound, right, in the Caribbean culture, they use a lot of bass sound. That plays a factor into the creation of the hip hop. Then you go further back to Central West Africa because you hear the rhythm, right? That plays a role in all of the black genres. And without that, you would not have none of these black genres. Okay? New York has a strong diversity when it comes to the black population. It has a very strong diversity. Okay? Again, black people were not monolith. We are very diversified. So when you got black people that was enslaved in America, you got black people from Jamaica, you got black people from the Bahamas, you got black people from Haiti, you got black people from the Barbados, you got black people from Senegal, Nigeria, Ghana, all up in New York. Then you can argue that the Latinos play their part in there too, because the Latino and the black community are pretty much combined. You will find a lot of Latinos up there in New York, especially the Afro Latinos. It's a lot of them. You got a lot of Dominicans up there, a lot of Puerto Ricans. Okay, so that shouldn't even be a debate or argument. So everybody that was involved in the inner city, right, play a factor, contribute to the culture of what we call hip hop. From our ancestors from the South, our ancestors from the Caribbean, our ancestors who descended go back to Central West Africa, our Afro Latino brothers and sisters, they all played a major part. But again, people still going back and forth and debating about some shit, which it makes no goddamn sense because at the end of the day, we do not even own the right to our creativity. The people that make most of the profit off our creativity is not the people that you think. It's really those who are outside of your community, which I mean, for example, the Europeans, Eastern Europeans, which is the Jews, the Irish. Those are the people that's making a lucrative income off of the hip hop culture But y'all sitting up here arguing with the wrong people. Y'all not going after those people who's taking that profit, right? And create generational wealth within their community and not thinking about your environment, not thinking about your legacy. But y'all sitting up here on the internet arguing about who started hip hop. And you got Tariq out here trying to put out a DVD, but come to find out he done copyright somebody else's information. All you gotta do is study the origin. But y'all rather go back and forth and argue about some shit just to be arguing. And it makes no sense. So yeah, I don't blame Uncle Luke for calling out Tariq bullshit. I don't blame him for pointing out the inconsistency with the information that he don't put out. I don't blame him because somebody need to call it out. Somebody need to point this man out. Somebody need to. I know y'all can't really see me, but I'm gonna say this. Get mad if you want to. I really don't care. I don't care how you feel. I said what I said, and I stand on it. I'm not gonna make any apology for what is being said in this video at all. So if you really took the time out to really get your own homework assignment and stop looking crazy on the internet, you will already have your answer. But a lot of y'all are too fucking lazy. Y'all just want to be romanticized. Y'all just want to be controlled. Y'all just want somebody to take y'all money and run away with it. That's what y'all want. Y'all just want to jump on the bandwagon. I hate to say it, our people just too fucking lazy. Too lazy to do their own research, too lazy to read a book. This is what happened when you have been infantilized. With that being said, you guys have a good evening, whatever your time zone may be. May peace and power elevation with your girl Tiffany, and I'm out.